Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the special edition of the Breakdown. We try to go ahead and have Tommy. We had Tommy on yesterday, Tommy Robinson. We were talking about and shout out to everybody who tuned in from YouTube to TikTok. We were having a discussion about everything that's going on. Minnesota touched on Trump. We'll touch on all these subjects again. We'll go live at 4:45. I'm just waiting and hoping that Tommy can go ahead and connect from his location. But we touched on a lot of topics. We did touch on a lot of topics. I don't know what's up with TikTok, by the way. I don't know what's up with TikTok. I don't know if they have me suppressed at the current moment because of the conversations that we had yesterday. I don't know. But we're waiting. We'll be right back with you guys. So share this with everybody you know. Tell everybody. If you're done shoveling out here on the Northeast, sit back and relax. We'll have a good conversation. Chaos, though, is erupting in Minnesota right now. Chaos. I like to see one of these Democratic, by the way, these Democrats, these politicians, I'd like to see them come out. I'd like to see them come out and say something about ICE agents being attacked today. I'd like them to go ahead and come out. I'd like to see Tim Walz come out. Mr. Peace himself. I know. I know. I'm just answering back to the crowd. Anyway, we'll be right back. So stay tuned. 4:45. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are joined by, let's bring Tommy right in. Tommy's been waiting. Let's bring Tommy right in. Tommy, what's going on?
I'm good, mate. Can't you see me? You can't, can you? Why can't you see
I
me?
can't see you. I can't see you.
Okay, one sec. TR.
While we go ahead and get this sorted out, guys, you can go ahead and retweet, repost, reshare.
It's probably connected and not used by another application. Learn more in the help center. Disconnect. The front camera is disconnected. What was it?
You probably have something else connected that's using the video camera.
Yeah, I think he does. Hold on.
If you want, you can restart the whole thing and then come right back in.
That's what I'm going to do, mate. Yeah, 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, bye.
All right. We'll have Tommy right back on. But again, if you guys are interested, go ahead and repost.
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, you've called up a fucking video. Here we go. What have I done?
Guys, go ahead and repost, reshare, tell everybody you know. Because we're going to have a conversation with Tommy. Tommy's about to go ahead and restart his computer. He's busy, man. He's recording. He's out there. He's flying all over Europe. Minnesota, man. Minnesota, man. What is happening in Minnesota? Why hasn't Tim Walz come out and talked about, why hasn't any Democratic official come out and talked about what happened today? Why? Go ahead and bring Tommy in. Tommy is still black for us here. Tommy's still blacked out here on my side. So what happens when they do not want? I honestly, 9.5, 10 years I've been doing this. This is the first time I honestly, I believe wholeheartedly, they do not want us talking. They absolutely do not want us to go ahead and touch on subjects. Tommy, we got somebody who gets very technical with stuff, stating that if it's a laptop, just select the camera input for the webcam. It's not the default typically. So there you go. We'll work on getting Tommy on here. But I almost feel, seriously, yesterday, me and Tommy were talking. And we're getting into it. We're diving deep into it. And then all of a sudden, not only Tommy's connection goes, my connection goes. Why is that? I can understand if one person's having trouble, not two. And it wasn't a restream problem. Anybody who tuned in yesterday saw that. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and bring on Tommy.
Right
They're not going to stop us from talking. Here goes Tommy. Welcome, Tommy. They're not going to stop us.
Copy and paste.
You're here, Tommy.
Can you see me?
I can't. Well, I sort of see you.
Hold on. Find restream under not allowed to use your camera. I've just gone and got another computer. So this is a second computer. And it just says camera permission denied. You have blocked camera access. Please update your browser settings to allow access. Oh, for God's sake, man. I know.
They
I'm
are.
at my mate's house. Look. Camera access. You have blocked camera access. Add to reading this. How do I help someone?
They're chanting your name in the chat, though.
You have blocked
They're
camera access.
chanting your
Rebate
name in the
browser
chat,
settings
though.
to allow. It would help if I weren't such a technophobe, wouldn't it?
I mean, it's better now. I do see you. It's
You can see
better
me.
now.
How sound?
I see you, but it's just there's no light. So you're.
There's no light.
I
no,
see an
I'll get
outline.
light now. 1 sec. I'll get light.
Look at this. Look at this.
Give me 1 minute. 1 minute.
Go ahead, do your thing. Listen, Tommy's gonna come right back. You guys are going crazy for Tommy. I love seeing this. You guys are going crazy for Tommy. If you guys missed it yesterday, if you missed the show yesterday, this is what happened. Me and Tommy started talking. Obviously, I host the breakdown. I asked Tommy a question. Tommy goes in. He's going in. I went in a little bit when I started the show, but Tommy goes in. What happens? 10 minutes in, out of nowhere, first time for me, both connections go out. Why? Now you're going to say, Dave, don't play the conspiracy hat. I don't know. I don't wear a tinfoil hat. You guys know me. I don't wear no tinfoil hat. But I got reported on TikTok. I had to appeal. People had to switch over to YouTube. People had to switch over to Rumble. Thank God for X. People went on X, formerly known as Twitter. And we couldn't get back the connections. It's not going to happen today. It won't happen today. I won't allow for it to happen today. I won't allow for it to happen today. I like the fact, though, that I guess, what do you call it? The Tommy Army has showed up. In full force, the Tommy Army has showed up. While Tommy gets his lighting set up, I want to go back to a simple question. Where is Tim Walz? Where is the Democratic Party to go on camera or hold a press conference to condemn what these rioters, these peaceful rioters, are doing to ICE agents today? Where are they? Where are they? Let's bring Tommy back in here. Tommy's with us right now. We will take Tommy right now with this light. We don't care. Tommy, we don't care.
Apologies, man. I'm such a technophobe. I've got two computers, but I'm here. I'm here, yeah?
Tommy, listen, we had a flood of viewers come in yesterday. Okay, they're chanting your name. Okay, you have built a following, a big time following, because you're saying something that obviously resonates with the people. So I want to get back to, for those who are just joining us today, I want to get back to what we started to talk about yesterday. What do you think about everything that's happening in Minnesota, especially today? Today, I don't know if you know this, but ICE agents were attacked. What do you think about the situation in the United States of America right now?
I come to the United States of America in 2010, and I gave a speech called A Warning to America in New York. I wasn't very well known then, but I just started my activism when and an organization called the English Defence League. And I only wish that 30 or 40 years ago, someone come to my hometown and told me what was going to happen and how it's going to happen. So what I speak about, I was born in 1982. When I was born in my hometown, we had one mosque. We now have 45. White English are now a minority. So everything that's now happening in Minnesota, when you've seen, like they were allowed to get away with this fraud, this billions and billions, it was allowed. The reason it was allowed was for Democrat vote bank, for their votes. Now, in the UK, and I talk of experience of this because I'm from Luton. So I've watched as we, white English, which is going to happen to you, the white Americans, it's going to happen unless you stop it, because it's already done here. It's done. In many towns, they've gone. They're never, ever coming back. You need to wake up now. You can look at Europe. You can look at Germany. You can look at France. Look at Berlin. Look at Paris. Look at London. They're gone. They are gone. Okay? Our culture has disappeared. It's not going to come back. You can learn and you can stop it. So I think what's happened in Minnesota and the awakening and Nick Shirley's work, I think is great, because it's an opportunity for America to wake up and see it. Now, what you're seeing is the Democrat Party allowing billions and billions and billions of your money in fraud, turning the other way, looking away whilst it's happening, probably because they're benefiting it. It's probably coming full circle back into their pockets, but they're letting it happen because that's their loyal vote bank of Somalians. Yeah. Now, this when you look at the UK and British politics, our political parties allowed the rape, murder, prostitution, torture of a generation of our daughters. Say that out loud. They let Pakistani groups of men from one end of the city to the other. We know of 85 cities at the minute. We know every single city that had an Islamic community, they were allowed to kidnap, rape, and torture young girls. Now, this, if you're American listening, this may sound unbelievable. When I started my activism in 2009, we were screaming this from the rooftops. We were going into cities and screaming it. Our daughters are being raped. At that time, full cover-up. We've now had government reports and government investigations in many, many cities where they've had to talk about this. Now, I'll bring back to why this is important to America. But in the UK, they allowed 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds. One girl had an iron rod with the letter M heated up, scalded on her bum because she was the property of Muhammad. Two fathers whose daughters, they're 13 years old, were in houses with 10 Muslims being raped. The dads went to the house to get their daughters back. The police turned up. They arrested the dads. You need to understand the scale of the power of not just political correctness, the fear of being branded racist, but also the weight that the Islamic community hold once they come together for their vote. Literally, our entire political class have turned the other cheek, turned the other way, let them rape, let them pillage. It isn't just the rape in the UK. As you're seeing now, it's fraud, it's violence. There's a two-tier system. And America's seen it now. You've seen it. Would they have been getting away with this, turning a blind eye, if it wasn't the Somali community? No, they wouldn't. But the Somali community can vote. Trust me, they vote in a military fashion. You think you're organised. You know your swing states, your 7 swing states, you would never have a swing state again if Biden had his way. The amount of immigration into your swing states, Muslim immigration, was 700% higher than everywhere else. So they were coming into your swing states to make sure there was never a swing state again, because they will organise. And what you will see, and I'm living testimony to it, I've seen the local leader of my council sits down and does a deal with the leader of the Council of Mosques, 45 mosques. They divvy up, do a deal, they get 50,000 votes. That's it. We're done. Yeah. Now, and I'll tell you that in 2013, in my town, I went on the internet and I looked at the government growth forecast, the projected growth forecast for the communities. Bangladeshi community were going to increase by 70 to 77% by 2030. So in a 17-year period, that was the size of the growth for their community. The black community, 1.2 to 1.4. So mirror that image that I've given you for every town and city that has an Islamic community. Then you can understand why the Labour Party, your Democrat Party, because that's what they're going to do to you, the Labour Party just give them everything they want because they know that's their future. And all they really care about is power. They don't care about... And what you're seeing now with Tim Walz, and you're seeing all this attempt to explode violence on law enforcement and encourage violence, they put targets. I don't know if you've heard of PIM 14. This happened a long time ago in Europe. There was a Dutch politician and he was murdered 2006. He was a Dutch leader, but he spoke out against Islamic immigration. He was a politician. Great man, goes back. Target. What they do, it's the same target they put on me, the same target they put on Charlie Kirk. It's they don't have to get their hands dirty. They wish to put targets with this false labouring, these smears, these lies, fascist, Nazi, like they're trying to compare your rice departments. Yeah. So then they hope. The man who killed Kim 14 was an environmental activist, a left-wing activist who probably thought he was taking out the next Hitler, when in reality he was taking out a brave and fearless man who was standing up for what's right. Yeah. But these lies, these smears, I've seen with Charlie Kirk. You've seen with Charlie now, Ilhan Omar, your politicians, your Democrat targets on your law enforcement, your officers, so that they're targeted with violence. Or Black Lives Matter. Every time there's an election, they whip this up. They whip up the violence. But I'm grateful to be on here, David, to just say to America, if you're an American, you thought you had a problem with Hispanic and Mexican immigration. Your border is all orchestrated, all planned, all organized across the whole Western civilization. All the borders are down. They're flooding in. They're bringing them in. Syria, Pakistan, Afghanistan. You better brace yourselves because it's Somalia. Because you have no. I used to listen to American about Mexican immigration. I used to think, give us the Mexicans. Income, yeah. You are going to mix oil and water. 99 Afghans want Sharia law. They don't get to the point of Europe and leave behind. It comes with them. And then the culture change. Part of this is your political parties will be on their knees to them. The Democrat Party will be on their knees. Unfortunately, though, when they gain power, I'm seeing some Republican states that are bending their knees to them and all. And you need to stop it. Yeah, obviously, immigration, Somalian immigrants, any immigration should be of a benefit to the United States of America. I can tell you now, there's no benefit. In Afghanistan, there's no benefit. There's just problems. Even if we look at the Pakistani immigration into the UK, there's nothing good from it. Pakistanis make up 3% of the UK. They're responsible for defects due to inbreeding. 76% of Pakistanis in the city of Bradford are married to their cousins. All of these financial implications, all of these problems, we're importing from medieval, backward, retarded societies. We're importing into our Western, superior, civilized society, and that is seeing us go backwards. And it's your money. It's all of our money. Somalians, I'm so glad this has happened, if I'm honest, because you've got to see how long Somalians have been in the country, 10 years, still don't speak a word of English, bringing nothing in. They put nothing in, they take everything out. So
I'm breaking up a little bit here. I don't know if Tommy
okay,
hears
is
me.
that frozen again?
Yeah, you froze up a little bit there. I heard I didn't hear the last 20 seconds of it. Ladies and gentlemen, you're joining us on the Breakdown Special Edition, Weekend Edition. This is part two. Part two. Me sitting down with Tommy Robinson and asking him questions. Okay? Asking him questions. So I want to hear his perspective. They've been going through this in the UK and in Europe for a long time. My next question to Tommy was really, who opened up the borders and why? And why? We'll get Tommy back on here. Let him go ahead and fix his connection up. He's going to come back on here. I want to thank everybody for joining in, though. Listen, for anybody saying there's a bad connection, we understand. We understand. But Tommy's back with us. Let me bring him right back in here. We're gonna work our way through this. We're gonna work our way through this, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Tommy's back with us. Tommy, what's going on?
Thanks for that rant, because I rant for about 20 minutes. I don't even know.
It's only maybe 20 seconds. The last 20 seconds, that's what we did in here. Okay, we heard everything else.
I was sitting there. When it froze, I thought you might not have got any of that. I might have just been talking to myself.
No. The 20 seconds you didn't hear it.
Okay.
The last 20, but we heard everything else. And
okay, good.
And this is where I wanted to ask you, why
and who
do you believe allowed for everything to happen currently in the UK and Europe with the way everything is happening out there. You've seen this, and you're warning Americans like, look, I've experienced this. I'm warning you guys. This is coming to you. Like,
this has all been planned.
Are these the same people working together?
The United Nations, the European Union, our leaders, mass corporations, for the benefit of the World Economic Forum, who everything that's happening is supposed to be happening. There is an immigration crisis. There isn't a crisis. It's planned. For example, my documentaries you can watch at trfilms.co.uk. I went to the Republic of Ireland, where my mother's from. A documentary called Plantation 2: Rise of the Celts. Ireland has never had a mass immigration problem. And then a few years ago, one of their politicians went out and I got his messages from social media and online, and they advertised. And he translated into 6 different languages, saying that if refugees come to Ireland, they will get, within 3 months, the key to their own home. So I took his messages from the year before, and then I looked at the statistics the next year for the people who were coming to the country claiming refugee status as part of this migrant wave, because Ireland had never had this. And then all of a sudden it started happening. And if you look, which we do on the documentary, guess where the top 6 countries were from, of the people coming into the country? The country that he went out and advertised welcoming them in. Now, why are Ireland doing that? It's not for the Irish people. It's for the European Union. It's for the Barcelona Declaration. It's coming out of the United Nations. There is a plan to weaken us. We aspire to greatness. We aspire to businesses, small businesses. We want to be successful. We've got above our pay grade, is what I think they think. Yeah. Now, how do you control a society? Yeah. You can't strong reality, strong revolutions. If you have people that don't know who they are, don't know where they've come from, they're in control, they're weak. You're not a country if you don't know your history. Yeah? If you don't understand what's gone before you and who you are. They have tried to demoralize us in Europe. As British, we've been told everything about our history is bad. We should be ashamed of who we are. We shouldn't celebrate our identity. There's been a massive crisis in the UK. It's why so many people now are converting to Islam. So many white people are talking like they're black, all searching for their own identity because they've lost theirs. When we should be celebrating who we are, because we're the best nation on the planet. We created the world. We've given everything. So, but we haven't. So I believe that there's an orchestrated, organized attack on the church, on the family, on parent, on fatherhood. And the reason being, and then mass immigration then plays its role. Because as mass immigration comes in, we're all fighting against each other, which is what's happening. As we're fighting against each other, they're taking away all of our rights with more control. And I believe if you just look, you just have to look. People 15 years ago, Alex Trump lost again, hasn't lost again, has it? Now you can see now that even the boats coming off from Libya get about 20 meters off the beach, and then NGOs with German government collect them. They're brought to their next stop where they're given all their clothes. It's literally people trafficking. They are importing people to replace the native European population. Your borders are down. Canada's borders are down. Australia's borders are down. The whole of Europe's borders are down. None of these Islamic nations' borders are down. No one's flooding their countries. It's all orchestrated. They're aiming all of them towards us, and that is causing the destruction of our communities. It's the breakdown of our togetherness, of our unit. And I've seen that. I'm living testimony to it. The estate I was brought up on, everyone knew everyone. There was a real strong sense of a community. We were all part of one big family. Now you walk down and don't know anyone. No one talks to each other. It's all broke down. Everyone's left. Everyone fleeing. So, yeah, it's happening. But America needs to take the warning. And I look at other countries making policies and think, well, It's just failed. It doesn't work. It's oil and water. The European Court of Human Rights in 2007 said that Sharia law has no. Judge.
Right now, we're still experiencing.
And that is,
Tommy, we're still experiencing right now technical difficulties on your side. I don't know if you can move maybe the laptop to a different area. Because I don't want the Tommy army who's in here. Yeah, I gotta tell you, what an army you have built up here. People are feeling the same way you're feeling right now.
is that better?
But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted people to hear you.
So, and as I said, I just wish someone gave us the warning. Now, because the power they wield, that 5% of the UK, 5% of the UK is Islamic, 5%. 40,000 Muslims are on a terrorist list. 40,000. We've only got 70,000 armed forces. 40,000 on a terrorist watch list. In 2003, in the UK, we had 8,000. In 2023, we had 88,000 rapes. If you take and you went again another 20 years, and you're talking 800 rapes. Now, our country is being raped. Daughters are being raped. Our women are being raped. And they're being bought in by our government. We're housing them. We're all going to work. Everyone's working every day under the sun all the time, whilst these lot are sitting down having 7 kids, and we're paying for everything for them. And whilst doing that, they're hostile to us. They're violent. Do you know, we've had our borders open. We've imported the ones put up in. We pay for to have 3 meals a day in a 4 or 5 star hotel. In the hotels, women raped, terrorist attacks just from the one hotel. Now 90% of rape cases get to court. So this is what's happening just out of the ones in the. Whilst we're all crying out government to do something, and we've got, there was a bloke called Al Fadda, and we're bringing all the, it's all planned. Obama, when he was elected, and this is partly the problem here, which is why he was so. 9 million people voted for Keir Starmer. So Keir Starmer, this tyrant, is in control because we've let him get in control of our country. He got in with 9 million votes. He's got no mandate for what he's doing. When he got in, he promised to bring, his priority was to get some Egyptian out of jail, some Muslim. He's brought him into the UK. We then find out that he calls for the death of white people. We go historically going through his tweets. Now, as if our government, MI5 and all of them, didn't check who this man was. Yeah, he's a hate figure, wants to murder all Zionists. He's still in our country. We have all these rapists, terrorists, jihadists still in our country. Keir Starmer land, Ava Vladenbroek, I don't know if you know Vladenbroek, the Dutch commentator. She does lots of good commentary. Yeah. She gave a speech about the Great Replacement. So her speech. The Great Replacement. Remember, the Overton window shifted. So
Donald Trump just retweeted it as of yesterday.
See that girl?
Trump retweeted it.
Now, years ago, the Great Replacement, you couldn't talk about it. You couldn't speak about it. Now, because of her speech, she has changed the Overton window. He's banned her. So Keir Starmer's banned her. Terrorists aren't banned. Imams come in promoting hate aren't banned. Jihadists aren't banned. Hamas supporters aren't banned. But Ava is banned from our country. Many problems going on. But when you elected Donald Trump in the United States of America, I listened to people talking, saying this is about saving America. I don't quite sure many of you realize this is far bigger than saving America. Donald Trump was elected to save Western civilization because it was on a downward spiral. For here, our cultures are disappearing. They're going. When you come to London, you want to experience British culture. There's no British people left. 33% is English. 33%. And what have they replaced it with? Somalians, Pakistanis, Afghanis. The violence has gone through the roof. The rapes, the crime. Every single capital city, other than Poland, other than Hungary. And when you say, is it organised? Well, the countries that have tried, like Hungary, who have said, we're not coming to the country, we want to protect it. The European Union fined them £1 million a day. Order, which I think Trump now bringing in the new world order, hopefully, yeah. But this world order was about the destruction of Western civilization. You will own nothing and you'll be happy. How will you own nothing? Because they're going to crush small business. The corporations are stepping in. It's what, and we can all see it. Everyone can see it. It's happening. So I think Minnesota, getting back, was a blessing. Statistics coming out about the Somali cost. Do they states Somali for Pakistani, same problem. Replace Pakistani for Afghani, same problem. Afghani for Syrian, the Islamic nations, same problem. Now, if they're not going to benefit the United States, that's the reality, and it doesn't work. And you can see that from every European country, every European city. They're lost. Sweden's lost. But I think that Trump coming in, even free speech in the United States, we don't have free speech. Do you know 12,000 people a year in Britain, 12,000 a year are prosecuted and arrested for things in Russia it's 800. So government talk about free speech. They lie. We live in a post-free speech era. We don't have a constitution. Wish we did. We wish we did. So JD Vance talking in Munich. JD Vance grilling the European Union. Do you know, for us, do you know the emboldenment or the sort of lift it gave us? As I said, I have been doing this. I felt like I hit my brick wall. I hit my head against a brick wall for a decade. For a decade. Trying to wake up a British public, not one on the list, just lost. Since Elon Musk bought X, Elon Musk, I don't think will be remembered putting rockets into Mars. I think Elon Musk for saving free speech. The way him buying X has changed everything. We're back. We're reaching the public. They can no longer tell people who we are. People can listen to who we are. Platforms like this, they can sit and listen to our discussions rather than being lied about. So I think Elon Musk buying X has really given everyone a lift. But Donald Trump getting elected and knowing that we share friends in the White House for all the populist parties of Europe who are under attack. Every single populist leader. If you look at the leaders, and my last documentary was called Silenced. I got 18 months in prison for my last documentary. The reason I aired it was because the documentary was so bigger than me. It's exactly what they're doing. Lawfare has been waged against, if you go through, I'll pick anyone. Pick Geert Wilders, the leader of the Dutch party. Pick Marie Le Pen. Any politician in Europe, yeah? Anyone. Pick anyone who has stood up and tried to speak against immigration, and you will see a history. Matteo Salvini, I was with him 2 days ago, the Deputy Prime Minister of Italy, was prosecuted in 2020. They said he kidnapped because he stopped the boat. He was prosecuted in 2021. He was then charged with other crimes. The process is the punishment. Every political leader who's tried to stand up was charged. You saw what they done to Bannon. You saw what they done to Alex Jones. You saw what they're trying to do to Trump. That's happening across the board. They've got so many weapons of their totalitarian state. But I think it's crumbling because you elected Donald Trump. I'm very optimistic about the future. More reason is not because we're not in trouble for them to not integrate or assimilate. I'm not because the public are ready. The public are awake.
Tommy, do you think Trump, obviously, I'm sure you heard Trump wanted to acquire Greenland, and he was going against NATO and the EU, and he was getting the EU upset, and they said it was causing chaos. Did Trump show the world who these who, number one, who his allies are, and also who these spineless leaders are in general.
I think Trump showed them. Oh yeah, it's great watching Trump and watching them all bow down like little boys now, put them all in their position. And if
Because I want to real quick, I want to say this. I think the EU and NATO were used to dealing with people that just lay down. Trump doesn't lay down for anybody. Trump, he's not controllable. Like when you look at Donald Trump, this is not somebody who's controlled. I don't care what anybody says. You cannot control this man. So I think, for me personally, from my standpoint, the EU and NATO knew we can't control him. Like this man is not controllable. He is not going to align with our ways. Is that frustrating them?
I think that they were used to dealing with someone who shared their goals. Their goals were global goals. Their goals are not for the interests of the citizens of each individual nation. They're for the interests of their global, usually corporations. Steps in, he's working for the interests of the American people. Not used to that. He's going to do what's right for America, first and foremost. And if it's right for America that all the other countries put in enough money, he's put them in their place. We're not paying to protect you, least of all when you're not even our allies. So to hear him now saying, well, if you're going to be, you better stand by free speech. You need to change what you're doing because we have tyrants in power across Europe. So I think, yeah, they're not used to it, but he's working for the interests of the United States of America. And what he does, why this is so pivotal, is because when he comes in, it gives Viktor Orban has been a lone voice fighting against the European Union, as of Poland, really, fighting against their forced migration quotas. Forced. Every country is told you are taking in this many Muslims from this many countries, or we will fine you. We will fine you. Are we supposed to believe that the British Navy cannot stop these boats coming into our country? That we can't stop them. We just last week, Russian tanker. We can stop Russian tankers out on the coast near Greenland, I think it was, but we can't stop a few dinghies coming in. They're not stopping them because there's no will to stop them, because they don't want to stop them, because they're bringing them in. It's literally, we are seeing people smuggling by our government on behalf of the United Nations. That's who they're doing it for. They're all planning it, the European Union, and then we're sat and told diversity is our strength. They do every day as our women are being raped and pillaged. Donald Trump standing there. Do you know how far it's come to see Donald Trump standing there saying you need to address your immigration because you're not going to have a culture and country left? I have been hounded. I've been in 10 different prisons and hounded for just trying to say these things. For just trying to say, listen, look at our country. So yeah, I've shifted for us, or for me, to sit and look now and see those people who they tried to make fringe rise into power. To see the trend now of Europe are not going to be weak little quislings like Macron. The futures of the West, I don't think, will be the Justin Trudeau. Leadership. Future will have borders, and the future will be internationally.
Do you see more people, being that you've been doing this for so long?
Doesn't it?
Do you see more people? It's okay. I'm working right through it. I've been doing this for so long, man. We're gonna work right through this. Tommy, do you see more people rising up and rallying now, not being in fear? Like, I'm sure 10 years ago, nobody's coming out the house and trying to go ahead and get out there and I guess back your message. Do you see more people starting to rally around you?
You got me? So that Irish documentary I made, Plantation 2, Rise of the Celts. I went to Ireland. I wore a hidden camera. My button was a camera. And I went up to women in the streets where the migrants now were, full of in the hotels. And I said, we're so scared. We can't walk. Come and get me. It's not safe. Other women said, my friend was saying, every woman said it. Every woman said they're scared. Then okay, I'm a journalist from the UK. and I'd shout all of them went, no, I can't say that on camera. I can't say that on camera. So they didn't need to bring in laws to take away your free speech. They just intimidated everyone and scared them. Political correctness through the 12,000 arrests online. I'm doing a case this week for a nurse in the UK, a nurse who worked for the National Health Service for 15 years. She posted on her social media that showed how much asylum seekers get given. Yeah, that's all it did. It was from the government website. They used that and a video saying it doesn't change. It's going to be unrecognisable intact. And she got straight away sacked for sharing 2 posts. That's it. Now, this is happening in the UK, the whole of Europe. What that does, it installs fear and speak. What's happened over the last 24 months, Ireland, that wouldn't be on camera, something's changed. Good people, women, mums, are now outside hotels across the UK. They're setting up their own group, the Pink Ladies in the UK. They're all out talking. There's all these new women's movements. There's something orgasmic has happened, something huge. And I can tell you that because I've walked the streets for 15 years since the start of my act. I used to get punches in without, and I get to see that people are feeling and understand that everyone understands what's happening. Everyone in it. So I don't know if you saw our last event on the 13th of September. Millions. The biggest protest in Britain, biggest gathering, yeah? Look at the aerial views. Doing interviews. I told the journalist it would be the biggest thing this country's ever seen. And I told them that everywhere I walk, they're crying out. I'm seeing it everywhere I go. So the British public, remember, Britain, we're a fighting race. We fight. Yeah? We have forgot who we are. We've had it bred into us with some weak. And when we remember who we are and remember where we've come from, and remember who went before us and what they sacrificed to give us. And this is why the Iranian things, because I talk a lot about Iran at the minute. And I've had quite people, and some of these people, they really piss me off, if I'm honest, yeah? Because I see them in the comments saying, oh, well, you're talking about Iran. People in the UK were too scared to protest because they might lose their job or they might get called a racist, a word. Yeah, a couple of words might lose your job. So why am I talking about Iran? Because these people get killed and they're out. And they're fighting the same ideology that wants to race. So that's why I'm talking about Iran. But those that were scared in Britain now, I've been on years, and I thankfully stood there on September 13th. I've been saying, where are the men of England? Where are the men of England? Women have been raped. Where are you? For September, the men of England or the men of Britain turned in their millions. Our next event is May 6th. That's because they've had their revolution. Everyone needs to understand there's been a revolution. Last 30 years, the left have had a revolution. Open border, massive immigration, destruction of culture, destruction of the family, attack on the Christianity, demoralization of the people, breakdown of the church. That's their revolution. The counter-revolution has started. It's on. There's a Christian revival happening in Great Britain. People are rising. People are coming together. Men are coming together in groups. Men are coming together. They understand the importance of being strong. They understand the importance of Christian faith. The more people search for what built Britain, they'll understand it was Christianity that built it. We're a Christian nation. And Christianity isn't weak. Don't kid yourself that it's weak and pathetic because our leaders of the churches are weak and pathetic. Christianity wouldn't be here if it was weak and pathetic. Through the history of it. So I'd say there's been an orgasmic shift. And people are ready. And for me, as I said, I've watched it all. What is happening? There is a cold revolution happening right now in Great Britain. It's underway. And they can't say do. So they were in jail they gave me months. It didn't stop us, did it? It's made 167 million people watch the documentary. They walked straight into it. No one had sent me to jail, but I released it in the hope that it would have 167 million people watch that film, most watched film in British history. They can deny what that's part of a mass awakening. So many things have played their part in this awakening, in getting people to the position where they understand what's happening. They understand the importance and the pivotal moment we are in Europe, in Britain, in Germany, in France. We're at a turning point where if we don't turn, we're gone. 1,000 years of Christian English history in Great Britain, in England. 1,000 years. It was 1,100 years. Next year is the 1,100th anniversary of England, and they've given it away in 60 years. They've given it away. They've literally given it away. When you look at towns and cities like my hometown's gone. We're second-class citizens. We suffer violence. We're a minority. That cannot continue. At this trend and the demographical change, there has to be a breaking point, and the remigration was unthinkable to be this 12 months ago or 24 months ago. I'm watching it shift so quick, so fast. And as I watch the debate shift and politics shift and what people are saying, commentary shift, I watch the public shift. There's some waves happening. And they're not putting out. Each time they've tried to fire out. In the UK, after the Southport riots, they locked up mothers. Lucy Connolly, 31 months. They locked up mothers. They locked up grandfathers. Peter Lynch died in hospital. Yeah, they locked up innocent people for non-violent crimes. They locked them all up. They used the media within 24 to 48 hours. They televised it. And the purpose of doing this, they weaponized the judiciary, as they've done in America, as they're doing everywhere. They weaponized it. And the purpose of it was to install fear in the British public. When they didn't install fear. They lit a fire in the heart of every fire to like as Iran are trying to the people are rising. Each time they make their move, I sit and think, well, what are you going to do next? Because each time you do something, each time you try and arrest us, each time you try and lock us up, each time you try to deplatform us, debank us, they've done it all. And each time they've done it, I sit here now with a larger audience than I've ever had. I'm grateful because I probably wouldn't be in a position if it wasn't for Elon Musk buying X. But freedom of speech is the most pivotal. And if we didn't have a platform, then we can't wake people up. So, yeah, I think I'm telling you, get yourself, David, May 16th to London. Get yourself to May 16th to London, so you can be on the ground and feel it. You know, I'm on a round 2015. And I went for their now Poland history. When I look through their history, they've always been outnumbered. They lost their country. It was gone. They were held down. The biggest uprising ever in history. 200 pitchforks, because they never gave it. They carried on fighting. So they understand lose their freedom, lose their country, lose their identity. So I went there in 2015, and I stood at the front of 250,000 Poles, and I felt something, and I stood. And I said, I can feel something. Yeah, I felt energy in the back of my neck stand up. I felt coming together. And I went away and I felt jealous because I thought, we don't have what they have. That togetherness, that camaraderie, that unity, that family, that sense of identity is gone. And then on the 27th of July, I remember standing in Trafalgar Square with hundreds. That's before the millions. And I remember standing there and I felt it. I feel it. Britain's rising. People are coming together. They're not going to. Anyone knows it. Anyone watching this, you know, when your eyes are open to the threat and danger of our nation, you can't close them. All we've needed is open the world's eyes, open Europeans' eyes, open every American's eyes. Because once they're open, you can't close them.
Tommy, it's been a pleasure. Even though we had to work through technical, problems here, we still heard what you were saying. And that bottom line, I see so many people in the comments. I can't even read the comments. They're just scrolling by fast. You have like I said, you have a whole army, a whole bunch of people that obviously resonate with your message. I'd love to come out there when you go ahead and throw this event and get to go ahead and report on it and feel that energy. Really do. And I gotta say, man, keep trooping, keep doing your thing, man. Obviously, you're doing something to go ahead and rattle the cages.
David, I hope to be in America soon as well, man. So if I'm there, I'll look you up, yeah?
Let's do that. Let's sit down. That's Tommy Robinson, everybody. Go ahead and follow him. I'll put the links down. I will go ahead and put out his website. Check out the documentary that he did. Tommy, I thank you for taking the time out of your weekend to go ahead and sit down with me and chop it up.
Anytime. Cheers, bro. Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Tommy Robinson. Obviously, we had technical difficulties. Tommy's traveling. Tommy's traveling a lot. And obviously, listen, internet connections are hard to find, man. Internet connections are hard to find. I see you guys have massive love for Tommy out here. You guys are all over the place in every comment section. That is nice to see, man. Like, listen, I've seen Tommy years ago. And when he said that, like, people were spitting at him on the streets, attacking him, I seen that through the videos that he posted. 12,000 people have been put into jail, have been arrested for speaking on social media. Who defines what hate speech is? Not many people are willing to go ahead and stand up and fight. I see this guy saying, I wanted to ask Tommy the question, but I didn't, because I was not going to allow some random dude to come into the comments and start like saying shit. But I see a pattern. I see a pattern happening. So anybody who has basically broke free of the matrix, anybody who's unplugged themselves from the matrix, is automatically deemed a Zionist. I've seen 2 or 3 people here continue to state that Tommy's a Zionist. And that's usually what happens. That's usually what happens when the left doesn't get their way. I've seen this now. I've been watching it. I've been reading comments. As soon as you go against the narrative, you're ultimately called a Zionist. That you're working for Israel. Show me. Show me. Because I can say a lot of you guys work for Qatar. I can go ahead and say a lot of you guys are submitting invoices to the Qatari government to go ahead and get paid. We can go both ways with this. It is, I'm telling you, the elites really did their damage. They did everything possible to go ahead and divide. They've done everything possible to go ahead and divide not only the people in the United States of America, but globally. Globally. If you notice, I want you to notice the difference between the left and the right. I want you guys to notice the difference between left and right. So check this out. Try to speak to the left and it's always violence. Try to speak to the left and it's always violence. Speak to the right. It's not where's the violence? It's just people trying to speak their truth. People see the world for what it is, common sense. For instance, I'll give you an example. I don't believe biological men should be playing in women's sports. Yet I will have the left tell me that I'm a moron. I will have the left tell me that I'm a bigot for saying that biological men should not be playing in women's sports. I will have the feminist party tell me don't speak for them. Yet they don't speak for biological women playing in women's sports. If you've noticed, it's mostly men speaking up for women's rights. I want you to think about that. It's mostly men who continue to speak up for women's rights. And I've said this before. I don't care what you do in your personal lives. I don't care who you decide to marry. If it's the same gender, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. You do what's best for you. But don't push it on me, because I don't push my straightness on you. That's all I ever said. That's all I've ever said. Saying, and again, I go right back to it, saying that biological men should not be playing in women's sports, there's no bigotry in it. You're not putting anybody down. It's common sense. It's absolute common sense. Saying that 5-year-olds who are going to school should not be learning about gender identity, there's nothing, it's common sense. 5-year-olds, preschoolers, first graders, second graders, they should be learning. They should be coloring in their coloring books. They should be learning mathematics, social studies, going on field trips. They shouldn't be learning about gender identity. What are we talking about? But when you say these things, the left will always say, well, you're a bigot. And I go, explain how. What did I say? What did I say that would lead you to go ahead and say that I'm a bigot? I'm not. I went to school. In school, they taught me there are only two sexes. That's what they taught me in school. I know that I can't get pregnant. There was a question that was asked 2 to 3 weeks ago at a Senate meeting in the United States of America to a doctor, which a doctor could not answer. And it was very simple. Can men get pregnant? And the doctor refused to answer the question. Well, I'm here to say to you that I, as a male, cannot get pregnant. I don't have a uterus. I don't have ovaries. And it is impossible for me to get pregnant. And there is nothing wrong with what I just said because it's factual. It's the truth. And yes, we live in the United States of America. We do live in a Christian country. We do. There's nothing wrong with saying that either. There's nothing wrong with saying that. We live in a Christian country. What in that is racist? This country was founded on Christian principles. Like, what in that is racist? Or not the truth? It's wild. And yes, I don't support. I think if somebody wants to transition, God bless them. Do it when you're 18 years old. Do it when you're legally able to go ahead and do it, and you've had time to think about this and allow your brain to develop. If you feel like transitioning, good. That is your choice. It's your body. You can do whatever you want. But to mutilate kids when they're only 12, to have states take away kids and then allow and pay for this kind of treatment when kids aren't fully developed, the minds aren't fully developed, that, my friends, the world has gone crazy. I talk about crypto, finance, digital assets, and I talk about politics. And I love doing this. Goal would be to bring everybody together, and I hope it does happen. I hope it does happen, but it's going to happen with common sense. It will never happen with everything the way it's structured today. With the way things are structured today, it is impossible to have a conversation with anybody. It is absolutely impossible to have a conversation. Because when common sense is not being used and it's not so common, well, normal adult conversations aren't so common anymore, are they? We'll be back right after this commercial break. As we wind the show down, by the way, thank you very much for tuning in to this special. I mean, this was a weekend of. We were supposed to only have one show. Tommy Robinson was supposed to, and he did. He showed up yesterday on Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch episode 1. And all of a sudden, the connection went off. My connection went off as well, which is, I was like, I was blown away. I was blown away that my connection went off. And give me a second here. I was blown away. But then Tommy came back on here today. Again, same time. So many people came through. The numbers, you know, I really don't want to, I don't like talking about the numbers, but the numbers are through the roof. And the reason why I point to the numbers is people are resonating with the message. Whether you like it or not, there are people that are resonating with the message. I don't live in the UK. I don't live in Europe. But I see a lot of people in here, in these chats from Europe, and 95% of them were siding with Tommy. And they weren't bots. They weren't paid for. No, you had actual people, because I see it now also on the comments on X. People are opening up their eyes. The difference is there's a peaceful revolution that happens on the right side, or at least I talk for at least the United States of America. It's always peaceful, and I know somebody's going to say it's not, but it is. And going to what happened in Minnesota with the unfortunate incident where the 37-year-old man passed away. People are saying, well, David, what's your take now? After seeing the video, what's your take? Here's my take. Here's my take. You don't show up to a peaceful protest with a gun, a military gun. I'm not making excuses. I'm just saying, I am not showing up to a protest with a gun, especially in an area where ICE or law enforcement is operating. What do you think is going to happen? I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to use common sense. Why would you go to a protest, antagonize law enforcement? By the way, Tim Walz said that ICE isn't law enforcement, which is another reason why he should resign, because ICE agents are federal law enforcement helping you out there, Tim Walz. And they have a job to do, and that is to get illegal aliens, undocumented individuals out of the United States of America. That is their job. That is their job. You are coming to a protest. You are coming to a protest armed. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen? You are coming to a protest armed. You are intentionally provoking law enforcement. What do you think is going to happen? Somewhere deep down inside, even the left, even the Democrats, even those who wear the blue on their sleeve, okay? You wear your party affiliation, you wear it on your sleeve. Even you have to say, you know what? I wouldn't do that. You don't like something, go to the ballot box. Midterms are coming up. In 2028, you'll have a chance to go ahead and vote for a new president. Go to the ballot box. What you're doing out there, causing havoc, only leads to one thing and one thing only. And I think you understand that. When Obama was getting rid of 3 million illegal aliens, not a single word was said. CNN literally broadcasted a 5 to 6 minute episode where they rode with ICE and watched them arrest illegals in this country. But because Donald Trump is doing it, because the media has made you hate this man so bad, you don't even know why you hate him. And that's the crazy part. You don't even know why you hate him. But because Trump is doing it, it's a problem. I don't think there's any sane American, regardless of party affiliation, I don't think there's any sane American that wants illegals in this country. I don't know if I'm saying anything fucking wrong. I don't want my resources going to people who are not legally here. I don't mind if, well, I think 42 million people on SNAP benefits is absolutely crazy. 42 million people on welfare. Think about this. That is absolutely crazy. The greatest country in the world has 42 million people on welfare. We need to go ahead and look into things. We really need to figure out why do we have 42 million people on welfare? I feel, you know, like when you hear Tommy and others that, you know, that are from Europe describe everything that's happening there, we kind of need to take it seriously here. Because the virus does spread, like the disease does spread. 100%. We see it now. Nick Shirley went ahead and uncovered a lot of stuff in Minnesota. Nobody was talking about it. You know, you can go ahead and rip apart Nick Shirley. You can go ahead and call him all the names in the book that you want. But he went out there, he uncovered, along with David, the guy David, they uncovered a lot of shit in Minnesota. So what was the first thing that happened? Instead of Democrats acknowledging that the shit was happening, what happened? They started saying that, oh, Nick Shirley went out there and he's racist because he attacked a certain group. He's attacking Somalians. He's racist. That's the counter. Instead of saying, oh shit, look, there is something here. There is something here. There is something wrong here. No, it was, guys, he's a YouTuber. He's 23 years old. He's been YouTubing. We really can't trust his reporting. And then what happens? A few days later, or a few weeks later, Tim Walz decides not to seek re-election. Why? Blames Nick Shirley. And others like Nick Shirley for tearing apart Minnesota. I do want to say something to the UK, to the people of the UK, to the British people, to the European people, man. I really hope peaceful though, like not some crazy ass, but a peaceful revolution to where you elect a good leader or good leaders to lead your countries. It's time. It's time. And yes, like, it's okay to say that the United States of America is a Christian country. I don't know why that's so taboo. And I do believe J.D. Vance and Mark Rubio will be the next to sit in that Oval Office. I believe J.D. Vance will become the next president of the United States of America. I believe the vice president will be Marco, and he deserves it. Both gentlemen deserve it. Both are well-spoken. Both are well-educated. Both are now gaining a hell of a lot of experience. By the way, guess who funded ICE? The Democrats. For all the we hate ICE, we want to get rid of ICE. Who funded ICE? It's been the Democratic Party. They had nothing to say when ICE was operating under the Democrats. They have everything to say when ICE is operating under Donald Trump. It's almost like I just shake my head. I mean, I feel like 2-3 decades ago, this would be common knowledge and it wouldn't be accepted. None of this shit that's going on would be accepted. My message again, not to steer away, my message again to Minnesota and the people there is just like, why go out there? What are you protesting for? Why are you out there in negative 10-degree weather protesting? What are you protesting about? Do you even know what you're protesting about? You're putting your lives in danger? You're trying to stop law enforcement from doing their job? You're trying to stop them from getting or arresting illegal or undocumented individuals and getting them out of this country? Why? Why is the question? Do you guys care about all these things that happen in the daycare centers in Minnesota? Do you guys care? Because that was your tax money. It seems like you don't give a shit. And you're not taking anybody in because there have been a lot of people that have gone out there to do in real life content. They have asked you, are you willing to go ahead and take on any illegals or undocumented individuals into your household? And you've said no. So you're putting the burden on the government to go ahead and do so. Yet you're out there in the streets protecting who? Criminals. There are criminals out there that have committed criminal acts here in the United States of America, and you're protecting them. You're protecting them. You're siding with them. That is crazy business. That is absolutely insane. It's insanity. It is absolutely crazy. Welcome to the Breakdown Special Edition. We had Tommy Robinson on, two-part series. We'll go ahead and chop it up as best as we can. The editor will take everything, we'll chop it up, we'll put it out there, we'll put out clips out there of Tommy talking. We have a great lineup of a lot of people coming on here, onto this show, to go ahead and discuss crucial topics, important topics. By the way, real quick on, well, we'll be back and I'll give my take on, as people wanted me to give my take on crypto. I'll give my take on crypto and finance right after this commercial. suppress. By the way, welcome back. I just want to thank everybody who did join in today. Okay, I just want to thank everybody who did join in. Appreciate everybody who tuned in. Obviously, a lot of Tommy's crowd came in here today. The numbers were obviously through the roof, and everybody was looking forward to hearing Tommy speak. And again, we'll have clips out during the week. We'll go ahead and push that out. I appreciate you guys. Well, for those who are first-time listeners, first-time watchers, I appreciate the kind comments that you've sent off to me. This is the kind of show we do hold every single day, Monday through Friday. Monday through Fridays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We bring on a lot of notable names to go ahead and just talk about current events, whether it's crypto, finance, digital assets, or politics. We go ahead and touch on all those topics. Obviously, you see the studio is getting upgraded. The office studio is getting upgraded. Slowly but surely. And I meant to say that. We're getting everything upgraded here in the offices. As for digital assets, just want to say this real quick. For cryptocurrency, which is big, to unbank yourself, especially with everything that's going on, unbanking yourself is absolutely very important. I've been watching, and I've said this before, I've been watching a lot of people out here. You know what? I'm not going to actually talk about it because this episode obviously is all about us talking about what's happening in Minnesota, us talking with Tommy Robinson today. I'll save that for tomorrow because tomorrow's Monday. A lot of you guys are probably working remote, so you'll have time to go ahead and join me at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and hear me talk about what's trending. And we're definitely going to dive into Minnesota, and we're definitely going to dive into finance. There's a lot of bullshit going on in the financial world, a lot of bullshit going on in the digital asset space. We're going to touch on that 100%. I've been waiting for months to touch on that shit. If you'd like to see somebody come onto this show, no, I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose. If you want to see somebody come onto this show, go to davidgochstein.com. davidgochstein.com. Go to the website. Submit it into the form. If you want to see me bring on somebody, because we're booked out for the next 2 to 3 months. If you do want to see us bring on somebody, whether it's from crypto, whether it's from politics, whether it's somebody like Tommy, go ahead and let us know. Let us know, and we shall go ahead and deliver. Anyway, thank you very much to everybody who tuned in. YouTube, shout out to the people on YouTube who tuned in. Appreciate you. Put your notifications on. Subscribe. Same goes for the X crowd. Shout out to Twitter. TikTok has suppressed me. TikTok has suppressed me for having Tommy on. That's fine. Because like I said before, I don't give a shit. There will be a social media platform that allows for the freedom to go ahead and speak. Nothing here was said. Nothing here or yesterday was said here that was controversial. It was just common sense. And everybody's entitled to their opinions. Everybody is entitled to their opinions. Shout out to Rumble. Shout out to LinkedIn. We're working on Facebook. We're working on Instagram, we'll have that all together. I appreciate all you guys. I really do. I appreciate all you guys tuning in, especially on the weekend, especially during, because right now we had a tremendous audience and there are football games being played right now. American football games being played right now, because I know we have some people across the pond here, but American football games are being played right now. The NFL has some games on, and yet people still took the time to come in here. Maybe you guys were multitasking and you were watching at the same time. Whatever the case is, you came in here. You came here to listen to what we had to go ahead and fucking say. I'll see you on Monday, and I got some thoughts for Monday. I got some motherfucking thoughts for Monday. On that note, God bless everybody, and God bless America.